Hello, everyone. It is Self-Care Sunday, Self-Care Edition. How are you? And you, but especially you. Yes, you, right over there. How you doing tonight? Tell me about it. Let's see if I can get my camera straight here. That looks a little better. That looks a little better. Great to be here with you live tonight. See if I can get all my screens going here tonight. Let's see here. Boom. And if I hit that button, will that give me my other screen? It did. There we go. Hey, Carrie and Lou. I am your Oscar show tonight, I guess. Appreciate you being here live with me tonight. What outfit did Wicket wear to the Oscar? I'm guessing something black. It is great to have you here live tonight. It has been a oops. Hang on a second here. Boom. Let's see if I can get my and stop the video there. Boom. Okay. Now I've got all my screens up correctly. Now they're all there. Now I'm going correct. Boom. Yeah, it's been a busy day. I know it's been a wild weather few days for a lot of places, and we're supposed to get it here on the east tomorrow with the wind and rain and stuff. I know a lot of parts of the country have been getting that. Although I heard from people in Florida today that it was beautiful. So today in Florida was good. Wicked's in his birthday suit. Awesome. Awesome. There is a I went with pink, for the Oscars. What can I say? Oh, but storming in Florida tonight. Yeah, we're supposed to get it tomorrow. It's supposed to be 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, rain in the morning and rain at late in the day, like 7 to 10 or 11 in the morning, heavy rain and wind, and then again from like 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Flooded up to your knees, yuck. I have two new landscapers coming to give me quotes tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to float in or how they're going to get here. As long as I don't lose power, I figure we're okay. As long as we don't lose power, that's what I always living in the country. That's what I always got to worry about is the power situation. But I probably won't go anywhere tomorrow. I will be right here at my desk. I've got plenty to do, and I've got a few meetings scheduled for tomorrow. So as long as I have power. But flooding is awful. We have this field area as part of my yard that gets wetter. I was talking to one of the landscapers the other day, and like, yeah, you don't touch that till like July when it dries out enough. Ooh, I like tonight's quote. Let's get started with tonight's show because I got a lot to talk about. And our opening quote tonight. I'm seeing I got our opening and closing quote on one page tonight, and I like them both. Our opening quote tonight is overcome the notion that you must be regular. It robs you of the chance to be extraordinary. Overcome the notion that you must be regular. It robs you of the chance to be extraordinary. There you go. So I told you tonight we were going to talk about, let me see if I can get this going correctly. Pay. We're going to talk about pay. And there is a lot to talk about with that. Where did there we go. So we wanted to talk about pay transparency because there's a lot of things going on with that and things that you need to know with that. Ooh, a camouflage collar. Ooh, snazzy there, Wicket. Snazzy. And so the age of pay and how pay is done and how we communicate that to employees, prospective employees, people that want a job with you is changing and evolving on a national level. And even where it's not evolving on a national level, sometimes there are local laws, city and county laws that can trump what you want to do and just what you may have done historically. And so that is why I wanted to talk about that tonight. So let's go going because I've been getting a lot of questions about it lately. And I don't, old school is the wrong way. More traditional, I guess, views on discussing pay and everything is part of all this. So let's get started. So 16 states now have pay transparency laws on the books, with more passing them every year and passing them to take effect at weird times. So it used to be a lot of times laws would take effect on January 1st or July 1st. And now with laws regarding pay transparency, there's a lot of laws that are taking place at all different times. And this applies to small businesses, not just the big guys. Penalties range from $100 to $10,000 per violation. Uh, get the kayak out. Even if your state or province, as the case may be, for our Canadians, has no law now, it may pass one soon because they're copying the other states and then making it their own. There are three types of pay transparency laws. The most common type is that it must be posted in the job ad. When you post a job opening, you must include a pay range, even on Facebook or Indeed, Facebook or Instagram or any place else. That counts as a posting. Even if it's at your front counter or on your door, that counts as a posting. And here's some of the states that that is active in. California tends to be the start. California and New York tend to be the start of these types of laws on each coast, and then other states fill in. Massachusetts tends to be a close follower. Even if it's not required in the ad, you must provide a pay range to any employee or applicant who asks, including for promotions. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The promotions part is really very interesting. That if you are offering someone a promotion, let's say you are promoting someone from cashier to key holder, or key holder or cashier to manager, okay, it can be a requirement in some states that you actually give a salary or pay range. It doesn't have to be an actual salary. It can be the range for this job is $15 to $20. The range of this job is $18 to $22. It can be, depending on how the state law is written, it can be really real. And lastly, many states prohibit asking candidates what they made at their last job. You can ask what they expect to earn, okay, but you can't ask what they make. And you can't ask for proof of what they made, okay, in their last job. Okay, these are real things, and these are active in many states. The states listed are just some examples of where it is. There are many more states. So here are some of the states with active laws. 34 states currently have no statewide law. 10 states, so we have 16 states that have laws. 10 states have pending legislation in progress. And look at some of the dates that these went in effect: October, January, September. These are weird times. So these things get overlooked. And with the states that have the pending legislation, this is just sailing through as a worker protection. The state is out to protect the workers. And so be aware of it and craft your policies and your own internal things to get ahead of it because these things are coming. I mean, shoot, in New York City right now, there is a proposal. Okay, this is just a proposal at this point, but this gives you an idea of what is coming because what happens in New York and California goes elsewhere. There is a $30 minimum wage bill going on, proposed in New York City right now. $30 minimum wage. And I know some of you watching this are like, I don't make $30. I know. I'm just telling you what it is. You're like, Jessica's like, I'm going to come work in New York for $2 bills. And we're going to talk about the National Labor Relations Board a bit because that matters. You don't, Ontario minimum wage is 18, right? But that's Canadian. That's fake money. That's not like really a real 18. uh, um, so, promotion disclosure. I already talked about this some. In many states, you must notify all existing employees of promotion opportunities. Uh, Maryland requires all job changes require a wage range. Massachusetts requires it at the time of offer. New Jersey must reasonably notify eligible employees. And Vermont and other states are doing it for even their current position. Upon request, they can ask for a pay range for their current position. So best practices, even if not required, always document the pay range for every position. Share pay ranges when making any promotion offer. Create a simple pay band sheet. Clerk, the range for a clerk, a lead, assistant manager, manager. Base range is not just on market data, but your actual budget. What can you afford? Okay. Consistency protects you from any kind of claim. And update your ranges as things shift. Gonna walk to work soon. Gas is getting crazy every day. I would say I was having this conversation about gas, Jessica, the other day, and it's partly right now with the unrest in the world. It's better to fill up every day because tomorrow it'll be more expensive. But the part that doesn't take into account is the value of your time. But the price at the pump, and we'll talk more about that. That really does affect people's perceptions of everything, of the economy, of everything, because literally gas prices are on every corner. So people see that and start freaking out about how expensive things are. But it's also petroleum is used in everything. It is used in everything. But that's why a lot of politicians are also talking about suspending the gas tax. And they're even talking about it at the federal level in the United States right now, suspending the gas tax to help mitigate the price increase. So the National Labor Relations Act and the National Relations Board are real things, and people think, oh, that's for big companies. I have had stores end out in National Labor Relations Board lawsuits or investigations, and they are not cheap. They get expensive, literally. You want to talk about burning money, okay, and only having money to walk to work. That is when the National Labor Relations Board gets involved in a case. That's really bad. So pay secrecy policies are illegal. Any policy, written or verbal, that discourages employees from discussing pay violates federal law. Okay, they can talk about pay all they want. Okay, I'm personally kind of old school on this. You don't sit around the water cooler and discuss everybody's pay, but the younger kids do, and you can't do anything about it. Okay, that is the reality. You can't do anything about it. And just know that and be okay with that, because that is the way. That didn't make that better. I thought I was going the right way. Know that and just be okay with it, because that's the way things are. No state law is needed on this. It is everywhere. The National Labor Relations Board, and this doesn't fluctuate from president to president or anything else. This is really real. And it's a quick way to make it look like you're trying to prevent them from unionizing. That's usually the charge that I see, is that when you're trying to keep pay secret, the National Labor Relations Board accuses you of trying to prevent a union. And that becomes a whole nother thing, but that's one of the charges that's easy to. It's not good when that happens. It's not good. Common mistakes that can cost you: don't discuss your pay with coworkers, posting a job with no pay range in a covered state, asking what you were making at your last job, or offering a promotion in states that without disclosing the pay range. Those are things that get you in trouble for it. There are some ways, around it, because in some states you only have to disclose the pay range to the person you're offering the job. You don't have to. Let's say you were hiring somebody as a manager and you only have one manager. But if you had multiple managers, you would have to disclose the pay range to all of them. So these are very real laws. Pay transparency isn't the enemy of your business; it's the foundation of a better one. Having clear, fair pay ranges and standing behind them, having documented pay ranges. That's what all the big guys do. It's like you're a big boy. It's like you're a big company. And the idea, the mindset that the law doesn't apply to me, to small stores like mine, and getting ahead of it before it lands on your desk. So here's your checklist if you choose to accept this challenge. Look up your state and see if a pay transparency law applies to you. Review any current job postings. Do they include pay ranges where required? Create a simple pay band document, which is what is the range for each role in your store. Remove any employee handbook language that discourages discussing pay. Train your managers never to tell staff they can't talk about their wages. That's a big one. It's one thing if you know it, but it's another thing your people have to know it. Your management has to know it. When offering a promotion, be ready to share the pay range for the new role. Stop asking candidates about their previous salary. Actually remove that question from any application. Review your social media job posting process. Pay ranges are required there too. And if unsure, consult a local employment attorney. It's worth the peace of mind. You may not even have to employ an attorney. Like if you're a member of Chamber of Commerce, a lot of times they have a legal arm that you can run these questions by, or a state retail association is a great resource for following and staying compliant with those rules. Worth the weight in gold for staying compliant with stuff like that. So takeaways: pay transparency is the law in over 16 states and growing. 10 are working on laws right now. That'll bring us to over half the country. The Federal National Labor Relations Act protects people in all the 50 states. You cannot have a policy, written or verbal, telling staff not to discuss pay. Promotions often trigger disclosure requirements, and Get Compliant Now is far cheaper than fines. And if you think your small business can't get caught, where's my article on, where's my book? Oh, I had I just finished. Does anybody? Where is it? A second. Where on my bookshelf? There it is. I'm grabbing the wrong book. I just finished. Anybody know the grocery chain Stu Leonard's? It's a Northeast grocery chain. Stu Leonard's. Um, a fabulous shopping experience. Unbelievable. Their whole thing is wow. I just finished the book on it. I've been to their store many, many times. Um, where the average supermarket has over 80,000 individual items, the average Stu Leonard's has about 2,000 because they just want you to have the best. His book is absolutely fabulous. It's a true story of so much. But one of the things he got caught up on is tax fraud. Hey, Sherry, how are you? And he got caught by a security guard he was paying under the table. So don't do that either. Those are things that get you into trouble really fast, really fast. The National Labor Relations Board has things on your right to discuss wages, state pay transparency laws. Paycor actually has while I'm not endorsing Paycor for payroll, they actually have a great resource on laws by states. State by state guide at HR Morning and the current law tracker, 650.com. Or just reach out. I can do my best to help you with your local laws there. But there is so much to that. Staying ahead of it is really good. It's also why I like a local payroll company versus the national guys. And why I like having a payroll company versus like doing it yourself in QuickBooks. It's just there's so many things with payroll that staying ahead of it is hard, and knowing your local laws is hard. But pay transparency is real, and this is where it's become a real thing with people. So, and people are getting in trouble, and a lot of people think that they can, just like they can make their employees not talk about pay, and they don't have to give a pay range. Those are two big myths that I hope I busted tonight. I hope I busted some myths tonight. Oh, you know what? I don't think I. Boom! I had a whole. Well, there you go tonight. So everybody, I had a whole PowerPoint up with this. I had a whole PowerPoint, but I didn't hit the button. So it was on my screen, but it was never on yours. So there you go tonight. There you go. But that is pay transparency. It doesn't change the information. I just Mythbuster. Hey, Kirsty, how are you? I hope all is well with you in New York. One of those states that likes to have that, but those crazy rules. So you in California like to do it. But I had a whole PowerPoint with this, and then I forgot to hit share screen. I apologize for that. But that is what I wanted to talk about tonight with pay transparency, which is just so important. So if you didn't hear the whole thing, go back and listen to it, because there were so many key points in this. You do want to make sure you are in compliance. It is so easy to fall out of compliance. And quite honestly, it is that one happy worker who becomes disgruntled, or their boyfriend thinks you're underpaying them, that turns you in. That is how these things happen. You know what else happens? This video and everything I talk about goes over to the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store. You can like, comment, subscribe, and oh yes, ring the bell, ring it so you know when another one drops. You can also share it with everybody you know in business, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, so we can help everybody run a better business. I am here every Sunday and Wednesday at More 8th and Ish. Sunday and Wednesday at More 8th and Ish. I am not traveling this week, so I will be on Wednesday. Wednesday's topic is going to be foot traffic. Foot traffic. Yeah. I'm going to bust some myths on that too. We're going to talk about traffic on Wednesday. I already got a nice presentation all set for that. So we will talk about traffic on Wednesday. But if you have a question in between, just DM me. I'm easy to find. Just DM me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Uh, we start the program every night with our opening quote. Our opening quote tonight was, "Overcome the notion that you must be regular. It robs you of the chance to be extraordinary." And our closing quote tonight is, "Your willingness to wrestle with your demons will cause your angels to sing." Let me say that. Your willingness to wrestle with your demons will cause your angels to sing. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. I do like a good party, a wedding, a bar mitzvah, your store's success celebration. I am there for it. But until then, and until Wednesday at More 8 Than Ish, know that you, and you, but most especially you, yes, you're not alone running this store. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you, yes, you, on Wednesday.